We want to do a fact check of some of the claims President Trump made about the war in Ukraine. The president said Zelensky talked the U.S. into spending $350 billion. That is false. America's response to the war has totaled $183 billion through September 30th, 2024. Trump claims the U.S. has spent $200 billion more than Europe. But according to the Kiel Institute, the U.S. has actually spent $18 billion less than European donors. Trump said America would, quote, get nothing back from the money it has spent on the war. That is misleading. According to a 2024 report by the American Enterprise Institute, 70% of Ukraine aid has been spent in the United States or on U.S. forces. A lot of that money has gone to domestic weapons manufacturers. Trump said Zelensky claimed he's missing some of the money sent to him. That comment also misleading. Earlier this month, Zelensky told the Associated Press he's only received about $75 billion from the U.S. and not the $183 billion that's often cited as what was appropriated by Congress. Not all of that appropriated money is supposed to go directly to Ukraine, though. Data shows Ukraine has, however, received $106 billion in direct aid from the U.S. Trump said Zelensky refuses to have an election and is low in the polls. That is inaccurate. A recent poll shows Zelensky has a 57% approval rating among Ukrainians. Elections in the country have also been suspended under the martial law that's been in place since the war started. And finally, Trump falsely claimed millions have unnecessarily died as a result of the war. President Zelensky shared an update earlier this month that 45,000 Ukrainian soldiers and 350,000 Russian soldiers have been killed. And the United Nations estimates that more than 11,000 civilians have died. While that figure is likely underestimated, it is still far less than the millions that Trump claims to have been killed. So we're working with trying to make sure the information that we get, even as President Trump is speaking on Truth Social or doing his press conferences, we got to fact check it.
Yeah, an important fact check. And Zelensky himself yesterday was critical of Trump, saying he's living in a disinformation space. Right. That's his phrase, saying he just doesn't understand why Trump is saying the things he's saying that are so blatantly incorrect about this war. And Sam, but it adds, though, the Trump team is using that as more means to make this personal. We heard from Vice President Vance yesterday delivering a warning to Zelensky, saying it wasn't wise to start these negotiations. It was atrocious, I believe was his word, by, quote, bad-mouthing Donald Trump. So they're already, it's warning shot after warning shot after warning shot, including in that Trump Truth Social post, right? The idea where he said if Zelensky doesn't act quickly, he won't have a country left.
Right. Well, Zelensky tried the other way, too, remember? I mean, he visited with Trump during the transition. He tried flattery. He's worked any angle, I suppose, that he can. And it comes down to the fact that Trump doesn't support Ukraine's position in this war. Trump calls him a second-rate comedian. Was it second-rate? Mediocre? Whatever.
Yes, it was
comedian. And he fully believes that Ukraine actually invited the invasion. And if that's the case, I'm not really sure what kind of approach is the right approach for Zelensky, other than handing over your country's mineral supply.
But Zelensky's hand is that he knows that whatever America and Putin cook up with between them, right, if he doesn't agree to it, if the Ukrainians don't agree to it, this is not a peace that's going to hold.
Right,
and the Ukrainians have made that very clear. They are prepared to fight, whether or not some deal has been done in Saudi Arabia.
I think it's fair to maybe make the criticism of Zelensky that he should have tried the diplomatic off-ramp earlier. And again, I'm coming at it from the set of Morning Joe, right? But people could have foreseen Trump winning, and it's not entirely implausible to have foreseen where we are right now. I mean, Trump was fairly open about his antipathy to this war. So, I don't know what went into the negotiations prior to the election. I know that there was a real approach by the Biden administration to get as much money and support into Ukraine as possible in anticipation of this. But everyone knew at some point in time this could have happened.
Yeah. And to Trump's point about Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukraine Constitution allows for martial law to be put in place during wartime, suspension of elections, and I think Churchill did the same. So it's, yeah.